Hey everybody, this is Greg from Safe Ride for Kids, where our mission is to help you make every arrival a safe arrival. Today we're going to talk about hot cars and hot car deaths. Every year we hear about it on the news, the tragedy of, a young child being left in the car unattended and ending up in a fatality or hyperthermia. Really, we probably hear most about the ones that end in a death. And it's always sad, it's always tragic, and for the most part they're really avoidable. And we're going to talk today about some of the common causes and then some ideas of things you can do to help mitigate those risks. So why does it happen? Oftentimes when I hear people talking about it and talking with other people, a lot of us are quick to judge. How could a parent leave a child unattended in the car? How could they forget about it? We have one letter written by a mom who, she thought her daughter was next door playing at the friend's house, and turns out that she had gotten into the car, was playing in the car, and couldn't get out or didn't get out, and then ended up finding her unconscious, unresponsive in the car. And what a tragedy. Imagine going through that as a parent. Then there's other times where a parent actually forgets the child in the car. They're driving somewhere and they leave the child, they forget about the child, and they go about their day. And we ask, how could that happen? Well, when they look at some of the extenuating circumstances, it's often that there was a change in routine, a change in schedule. For example, mom normally drops the kids at daycare, and today, she asks if dad can drop the child off on his way to work, for example. And it's totally out of the ordinary for dad. It's not in his routine, and his mind is on autopilot. How many of us have woken up several miles down the road because our brain was occupied thinking about something else, and who was driving the car? It was just, we were on autopilot. And that can happen to anybody, anytime. And it can happen if you have a child in the car. I remember when I was a new dad about 10 years ago, took the little baby, I think he was about a month or two old, and drove to the motor vehicle division. And I'm sitting inside, I walk inside, I get my ticket, I sit down, and I'm waiting to go up to the counter, and all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I have my newborn son with me out in the car. And fortunately it had only been a couple minutes, and we were here in Colorado, and it was a cool spring day, but it could have been worse. It could have been a different scenario. So then I was faced with the question, do I just leave or do I go get him? And then face the ridicule of, well, where did that kid come from? That guy was sitting in here before, he didn't have a kid with him, that kind of thing. And I got through it. But my point in sharing that is it can happen to anybody. At the time I was a firefighter paramedic, Mr. Safety, child passenger safety instructor. It can happen to anybody. So let's talk about some ways that you can put the odds in your favor, which is what we believe is the real definition of safety. Some ideas. If you have, if it's going to be a change of schedule, anticipate that it can happen to even you. Maybe bring one of your kids' toys and put it up on the dash as a reminder. Maybe put a toy in your briefcase so that if you do get to work, you open up your briefcase or whatever piece of equipment that you have as a habit, always, every day you have it with you. Put a reminder there. Put a monkey in the handle of your briefcase or your backpack. Something that will remind you, hey, there was a change of schedule. I have child responsibilities today. Did I take care of those? Another idea is to put your backpack or your briefcase or your work essentials on the floor in the back of the seat, so that you have to open the back door in order to get what you need. You could even put your cell phone back there, because who needs to be a distracted driver in the front anyway, right? So That's another idea. Put something in the back that will force you to open the back and realize that you have parent duties today. Another idea is if your child is going to daycare, have an arrangement with the daycare that they call you if your child is more than 15, 20 minutes late. A set amount of time where they're going to initiate, hey, Junior didn't show up today. Because there was one scenario where dad had taken the baby, again, change in routine, had taken the child, was responsible for taking the child to daycare, and he went to work. And his wife met him at lunchtime for lunch at work, and she made a comment about how happy the kid was going to be to see his teacher, or something made a reference to the child being at school. It was in that moment that dad realized he never dropped him off, and that was a vehicle fatality. So the point being is it can happen to anyone, and know that. Don't think that you're immune from it, and take steps to remind yourself, because we all get busy, and we all have routines, and we all go into autopilot. There's also a host of technological solutions that are out there and available today. My personal opinion is that's still technology that you're depending on. I would rather see parents, caregivers know that they can do it and take a step to remind themselves. I hope this was helpful. Another sad thing is hot car deaths happen on average about 37 times a year if you average it out over the last 10, 15 years. And on average, we lose about 400 children birth to 4 years old on the highways every year. So yes, hot car deaths are tragic, but if we look at the much bigger picture, motor vehicle crashes are still the #1 cause of fatality. And at Safe Ride for Kids, we're very passionate about protecting children even before they're born with one of our products called the Tummy Shield. So, these things that we drive around in every day, we believe that they're safe. They're a lot safer than they used to be. But at the end of the day, this is a big piece of equipment, and it's the most risky thing that we engage in on a daily basis and that we expose our children to. So pay attention, realize that it can happen to anyone, and remember that safety is about putting the odds in your favor. Have a great day.